Jake Keegan here with us, joining One Knoxville in 2023. So, Jake, just introduce yourself, name, where you're from, your age, etc., just to give a bit of a background as to who you are.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting. This brings me back to my podcasting days. My name, Jake Keegan. I'm from New York, about an hour upstate from the city. And age, I like to keep that to myself, but I'm 32, believe it or not.
Oh, there we go. You don't look past 21. All right. So, Jake, so a bit of background about yourself. Just mentioned there you're from New York. So you've been there all your life, family there, roots there?
Yeah, I was in New York. It's in this area for high school, youth soccer, all that, and then I went to Binghamton University, which is still New York, but a little bit Western New York. And then after that, I was pretty much done. And then I've bounced all around different places, but I was pretty much done living here, except for the holidays with the family still.
Absolutely. So you went to college. What age was that?
That was 18 to 21, 22.
Okay, so your
Yeah.
typical college years. So New York, family life. You're there for Christmas right now, I imagine. Is you with your mom, your dad, brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I got parents are here, mom and dad, and then I have two brothers and a sister. They live in the area. They're not like in the house, but everyone's really close by. So it's nice. We had a nice little family get together last night. So
That's brilliant.
just
Any of them
yeah,
play?
they all used to. They're retired. I'm the oldest, but they all played in high school.
They're retired.
I mean,
They're retired, and you're the oldest.
yeah. I beat them. My one brother, he plays ultimate frisbee still from time to time, but no, they all played in high school, and then they kind of stopped once college hit. So I was the
Got it.
most serious about it.
Brilliant, brilliant. So your soccer roots, you said you played there in New York, club level. Went on to college. So when did you start playing, Jake? How early did you start kicking the ball around?
I would say probably 4 or 5. Probably 5 is when I started first, like organized playing, and I was lucky enough. My dad was actually my first coach, and he was my coach up until like 18 or so, because he was a former player. He played at UC Davis, which is a school out in California. You may have heard of it. And yeah, so he was into the game, and he got me into the game from a very young age.
Is he still coach?
He does actually a little bit
Nice.
with his he's a teacher. He was a teacher. He's retired. So he still teaches at the school that he had taught at.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah,
Taught you all you need to know, eh?
yeah. Most anyway.
So you went to college, graduated when you were 21. How or what happened in that gap between professional and college? How quick was that transition? Did you go straight to the pros, or how was that?
Yeah, my transition was an interesting one, as most people are, kind of that have played in the lower leagues. But I was first drafted by the Union. That was obviously right away. That was January or whatever. And instead of going on trial, which is obviously I was a lower draft pick, so it's mostly just a trial situation. So I decided to go on trial in Israel first, and then it didn't work out there with Maccabi Haifa, which is a big club there. And then I went to Austria, came back to the U.S. for a couple trials, and then I went back over to Germany, which is where I eventually signed I guess, my first contract. It was lower league Germany, so it wasn't necessarily the level that I wanted to end at or continue playing at, but it was just somewhere at that point. I had been told a lot of times, so I just wanted to find somewhere to play, get games, and hopefully be seen. And that it was exactly kind of worked out how I wanted, because I was able to score some goals and then get a move quickly to another club.
So how did you find that? Because obviously you're 21, 22 at this point in Germany. I imagine you didn't speak German at the time. So how was that adaptation? How did you communicate with your players, your coaches? How did you find that?
Oh, it was difficult. I was thinking about giving you some broken German right now, but no, I don't even want to embarrass myself. uh, so I mean, getting over there was so much of it for the young players. It's just like making connections, and it's just like random connection here with your USL2 team or whatever it is can help get you a trial, and that's kind of how I first got over there. And then once you're there, like if you're good enough, you're good enough, and if you're not, you're like it's pretty simple. But in Germany, I was lucky enough that pretty much everyone spoke some sort of broken English, so it wasn't too difficult to hear what was going on. The players were there was two other Americans on the team, so they were interested in like our culture and like what we were doing over there and all that. And the coach, he would do the tactics first in German, and then it would be 10, 50, whatever, your normal tactic talk before the game. And then after that, he would come to the three Americans and be like, 2 minutes, if that, 30 seconds.
Wow.
Here's what you got to do. So we got a little translation from the manager.
Well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So Germany, where did you go after that? Because I believe you've been all over the place, really. So
Yeah,
how
from
did
Germany.
you get out of Germany, and where was the next move?
Yeah, from Germany. So I played a half season. So German league is like the English league. So they have that winter break in
Right.
the middle, like around Christmas. So at that point, I knew I wanted to move on. So I could either have gone to a German team in a higher division, or I had another trial or another chance for a trial in Ireland in the second division with this new club. And again, just ran. I found like these people, like a guy that helped me out, that helped me get the thing in Germany, the trial in Ireland. So I was able to go over there, and I signed pretty much a trainer that was a higher level, or at least a higher division in the
Right.
country. And I thought that was a better opportunity. So I went over there, left the German club, and then within a few days I signed there.
Right. Yeah. You just mentioned there that you're playing a European way there, with starting in August and finishing in the May to June or whatever, and you've had that half season. What are your thoughts? And this has been something I've debated with a lot of people. The USL is obviously March through November, playing through the summer. And I understand the reasons for that, especially those in the north of the country with the weather and facilities, etc. But do you prefer playing this way in America, or the European way with that winter period and then the summer break?
Um, for me, the only season I played this was in Germany, because in Ireland the season's actually pretty much exactly the same as
Oh,
USL.
okay.
So I personally prefer the way it's done now because of the weather. That's the only real reason.
Yeah.
I think having the English season or the German season would be great. But I don't know. I just don't think it's feasible. It would. I mean, I guess you could make a long winter break and it could possibly work, but I don't think we have to copy everything that
Right.
Europe does. I think it helps with transfers and stuff like that because the windows would line up.
Hmm.
But for me personally, I like the way it is.
Yeah, my main thing is with the World Cup coming to the US next in 2026, it's going to go on through the summer. So what that would mean for the MLS, the USL, I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out, whether they change it to a European way.
That'll be
Yeah,
tough.
I guess we'll see.
I mean, what they could possibly do is just, what is it? They need a month, because really,
Yeah, true.
USL, it's irrelevant. If we have a USL championship or League
Yeah,
One player in the World
true.
Cup, that's great.
You don't
Yeah,
fancy yourself getting the call?
I don't know. At that point, I'll be what, 36, maybe.
Messi's
But
still winning it at
yeah,
35.
yeah, yeah. He's something different. He also doesn't have to defend, which is nice. So, but it is a great question, because like there's no right answer. I mean,
Yeah.
if you try to play in Madison, Wisconsin, even in April, it can be. We played a game there with Greenville the first season, and there was 3 inches of snow on the field. They were trying to plow it off. Like, it wasn't like, I'm sure they loved it. It was a great atmosphere, but the game was trash because
Yeah.
you couldn't strike a ball. Like,
Right.
you couldn't play any foot. And I don't know. It would have to be like 3 months in the fall and then 3 months in the spring, which I don't really know if
Mhm.
that's long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a good point.
Or
We'll see
just
how that.
get rid of all the northern teams. Forget about them.
That's it. Forget about them.
They
It's all
can
right. We don't
combine
need
with
them, do we?
the Canadian teams.
They're
In
going
our
to get
league,
battered anyway.
yeah,
So
in this league anyway, the only teams there are Madison and Omaha. So
that's right.
forget about them.
Yeah, they're going to get battered anyway. So Jake, let's touch on a bit of your lifestyle, some of your interests. When you're away from the soccer field, what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm big into sports, so I'll watch anything. Like, love the NFL, obviously love the Prem, love any soccer that's going on. I'm actually not the biggest MLS guy. Like, I love watching Championship and League One, probably because I know a lot of people in it.
Yeah.
But MLS is a league that I really haven't gotten into it, because I mean, you have the Prem, you have Champions League, you have League One, you have like all
Mhm.
these different leagues, and I'll watch it from time to time. But yeah, I'll do that. Any kind of sport, whatever it's on, tennis, basketball, anything. And then bit of an outdoors kind of guy, so hiking, biking, things like that. During the season, it's obviously a little bit harder after a long day of training.
Yeah, we have
it's
the Smokies up in Knoxville, so you'll
yeah,
I'm sure you'll
yeah.
make the most of those in the off
I'll check
season.
I'll check those out. If I was able, like Greenville's not too different than Knoxville, so there's a lot of like lakes and hiking spots. So I haven't ever been to Knoxville, but I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it.
100%. What about the NFL? Who's your team?
Well, I mean, I got a team and I got a guy, so I'm a Jet fan. I'm a Jet fan, but
Okay.
as the Jets they're doing better this year. I think they're 7-7, but they normally disappoint you. So so one of the first football games I ever watched was Brady against the Raiders back in like '02, the snow game, the Tuck Rule game. So I kind of became a Brady fan through that, and
He's
I
your
know
guy.
it's kind of conflicting with my Jet fandom and my Brady, but I don't really look at it like the Jets are in a different league.
There you go.
They're like I don't know, D2, and the Patriots or the Bucks are D1.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. So yeah, a bit of an outdoorsy kind of guy. Enjoy watching Championship League One. Does any of this relate to you as a player? How would you describe yourself as a player? Do you see any relations to how you are away from the field, or do you think soccer brings a different character out in you?
I definitely think competition brings out a different character. I'm very like laid back, like in general. But as long as once anything comes, like whether it's card game or like I don't know, be it beach volleyball or a football match, like that, I kind of change persona a bit. I'm still not like the biggest like trash talker vocal necessarily, but I definitely there's definitely a switch. Like once things start getting a little heated, you can see even like when you're doing like off season training or whatever, thing
$100%.
you're doing some passing patterns, whatever you're crossing and finishing, and then all of a sudden you're doing a five-a-side and the light really switches on.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, we I played for Mark for 4 years at college, and his trainings get just as intense as the game sometimes. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of your teammates that'll be having that little bite in practice as well. So
Yeah, that's what you want. The best teams are always like that. The ones that are very passive in training, it's very hard to switch it on once the match comes.
100%, 100%. So let's talk Knoxville. Mark McKeever came
Let's do
knocking.
it. Let's do it.
The boss man came knocking, gave you the call. How did that go? What did he say to you in that first call? He tried to sell you the dream.
Oh yeah, the American dream. He gave it to
Oh
me.
yeah.
No, he was very upfront and just like you can tell he's a straight shooter and he wants certain things from his players. He expects certain things, but as long as you give that, he will give it back in return. And it seems like a style that I could fit well into. Um, Kind of high energy. That's probably one of my strengths as a player, fitness and wanting to press the game or from an attacking point of view, from attacking player point of view, rather than sit back, which is kind of what we did in Greenville a lot, and it was very successful. But I'm kind of looking forward to getting into maybe where we press a little bit more, a little bit higher, hopefully win the ball back and create some easy chances that way.
Do you see yourself more of a, I wouldn't say see yourself more as, but you just mentioned the system there and how it can suit you. We obviously play with 10s and 9s. Do you see yourself versatile to play in both those roles?
Yes, I would. I think I've played pretty much every position in the attacking part of the field over the course of my career. I think in every position, like any player, you have your strengths and you have your weaknesses, and each position suits you maybe a little bit better, a little bit worse. And for me, I just think as a striker, I can do certain things that are good, and I have certain limitations. And the same thing in a 10 position, and I'm happy to do whatever the team needs. And a lot of it always comes down to the style of play. Like for instance, this past season in Greenville, I was pretty much always a winger, like a right winger, left winger. So I mean, that's just what the team needed and the team asked for. That's what I did. So you never really know how a team's the makeup of the squad. I mean, Mark obviously he has his vision, but you don't know until preseason comes and you guys get or we get a couple games in and you're like, all right, this will work with this guy, this will work with these guys. Who has good relationships? So yeah, I don't really not too bothered where I'm playing. I just want to help the team in whatever way that is.
100%. That's class. Yeah, we're definitely a team that's full of quality and players that can play in different positions. So
you gonna train with us? You gonna train with us from time to time?
Oh, come on, I'll have my boots there. Of course I will. I'm doing everything else around here, so I might as well get involved and put the ball in the
Hey,
back of the goal a few
be
times.
careful. Mark might give you a contract.
Oh, believe me, he won't. If I'm getting a contract, it's because I'm writing it up myself.
Hey, you could do that. You could pull that one off.
Oh yeah, well, believe me, it's in the works. They don't know it yet, but anyway, USL League One. We've obviously come off an inaugural season in League Two. Never played a game in League One before. You have. Not only have you played it, you've won it. What can you tell us about that league? What have we got to expect?
I think first off, it's grown so much from 2019 to 2022 and now 2023 coming up. The quality has improved. Having no MLS2 teams makes the league better, in my opinion. Obviously, there's some very talented players, like a Ricardo Pepe. He was at North Texas. That's great. But I think the level of the league the past year, a couple years, is good. Is very, very good. I think it's more difficult than people think in terms of, they're like, it's not championship, this and that. And I believe there are 11 teams, and I think there were 6 maybe that beat a championship team in the Open Cup. And then obviously Omaha made the run to the quarterfinals, I think it was. So it's a very good league. I mean, I think the travel in the U.S. is in League Two. You don't have travel. I mean, you have bus travel. It's not very far. It makes a massive difference. We're lucky enough to be in a part of the country where there's a lot of bus travel, and if you're like a Fresno or a Colorado or an Omaha, like you're flying every week or every other weekend. So I do think that's an advantage for us. So I mean, I think it's a league that it's so close, and there's fewer in the championship. There's like special players, I guess you could call it, whatever you want to call them, and they're above and beyond. And in this league, there's fewer of them, so it almost makes the league more competitive in that way, because you can't just give the ball to Asante and have him get 15 assists, a Leo Fernandez, have him score 20 goals in a year. Now we have that. There's Aggies and things like that, but it's more of a league where every game's close. The table last year was insane. Like
I think at one point there was 1 or 2 points separating 7 places.
Yeah. We finished second. I think we were 3 points behind first. So from first to, I think it was like 7th or 8th was 8 or 9 points. So
yeah,
a result here, a result there, and if you go from second to missing the playoffs or first to 5th, and I mean, hopefully it's like that again. It's more exciting for the fans. It's exciting for the players, and hopefully we're in first, just above everyone, and then everything behind us is very tight, and that's what we want.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you've mentioned there, you were right in saying it was so close last year, and anyone can beat anyone in this league. From your experience and the teams you've traveled to, is there any difficult places that you don't like going? And then on the other hand, is there any places that you yourself have stood out, you've performed well, you enjoy going and playing against there?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say there's one that comes to mind like either way. I do think Richmond's got a great atmosphere. Madison's got a great atmosphere. Greenville does. I mean, there's teams around the league with I prefer going to the places with good pitches, which I mean, as a player, like the supporters, I mean, it's great, especially at home. It's great, but like, I don't honestly notice much of a difference. It's the energy in the crowd. It's not really if they're rooting for you or against you. It's more just, I feel like I play better. I feel like the game is better when there's a good crowd in the stands. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much if you're away in Greenville or you're home in Knoxville, from a standpoint of it's just, you need, like, football is all about energy. That's really all it is. And if you have 500 people at the game, it's a way different game than if there's 5,000 people and they're right on top of you. Like Omaha, I've had some good success there, but like, I don't enjoy going there because it's a baseball pitch. It's tiny. The fans, it's baseball stadium, meaning like the fans are so far away from the pitch, and they get good crowds, 3,000 or 4,000, but the atmosphere just isn't there. Whereas like a Madison or a Richmond, they're right on top of you and they're cursing at you. Madison, for whatever reason, don't like me very much. So, so I was getting a little bit of abuse, but yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just the pitch that makes the biggest difference. So I want to go places with good grass pitches, which thankfully, from what I've heard, Knoxville's one of them. So half the games we get my ankles and knees and body will thank me.
Yeah, Regal Stadium. It's brand new turf. It just got relayed this summer. Spent a fortune on it, and the girls, University of Tennessee, have just had a season on there, and yeah, it's absolutely immaculate. So we're excited to get out on there, give you boys a good playing surface, and of course we have the Scruffs, we have the Knoxville fans who are going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen some pictures, heard some things about them, but yeah, you're going to have some crowd from them.
Yeah, I can't wait. I was actually this winter, this summer in the League Two season. I knew Peter, the keeper, who has signed.
Singles, yeah.
Uh, um, and what's the guy's name? Cameron Carter Vickers. He wasn't there very long, so I mean I don't know either one of them that well. I'm gonna obviously get to know Peter much better.
Yeah.
So I follow most of them social media. Like I loosely know them, so
Mhm.
I was able to kind of follow the club once I saw them signing in One Knoxville, this school. Like, and then you see the atmosphere at the games. You see the supporters are clearly into it. And again, this is League Two. Like a lot of the clubs don't have any support. So I was excited and kind of like, this is way before you ever were announced as a League One club, and I was like, this
Mhm.
is cool. Like hopefully they come into our league or into championship, and because that's all you want. You want all the best soccer
Yeah.
markets to have some sort of a professional club. And also actually Heath Martin, I played with him at Madison, so he
That's
was
right.
here.
Yeah.
He was here there as well. So I had a lot of strange ties to
There you
Knoxville.
go.
So I was following the club this summer for sure.
Oh yeah, no, that's brilliant. And yeah, it's one of those where we always promised professional soccer was going to come to the fans. So part of me thinks they knew it was coming. But yeah, it was a brilliant reaction when we told them, and
Yeah.
they're just as excited as every single one of us are. So that's going to be great.
When was that decided? Was that decided before the season in League Two
That we
or
were
before
going
what?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually part of the plan. It's been part of the plan since the very beginning. Formal conversations started going on pre the summer,
Hmm.
um, and it started getting more serious during the summer, and it got finalized. I want to say, when I say finalized, it got verbally agreed upon the last couple of weeks of the season. And then we were just waiting on, the agreements financially, the packages involved, the agreements. And once all that was ironed out between the owner, Drew McKenna, and the league, we were able to set up a date to announce it and go for it. So it was always in the works. Drew was having conversations with the USL months before, you know, even we knew about it. Um, so yeah, so that's how we came about League One, and of course the ambition is to jump again.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
happy and extremely delighted to be in League One, and we see ourselves here for a very, very long time. But the aspirations of the club is to take professional soccer here as high as we can, and if that means the championship, then the championship's where we're going to be. So hopefully in the future we can, whether it's promotion, relegation one of these days, or something else. The goal is to get up there, but League One's got to come home to Knoxville first, I think, before we can move up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love the way the club has gone about it, because you see so often a club like, for instance, Queensboro, which is, I'm just saying Queensboro because they're kind of right in my backyard. They announced themselves as a championship club in like 2019, maybe. And I know obviously the COVID stuff like messed up a lot of clubs, but it's 2023 and they're announcing themselves again as an MLS Next club. So like if these clubs
Mhm.
instead would start at League Two, to be like, all right, is this feasible? Do we get any support? Does the owner even enjoy this? And then if you start there and then you do a year, you go up a year, and then you climb the ladder in a more organic way, you'd
Mhm.
have less clubs that would fold, or the owner, because really it all comes down to the ownership. So if you don't
Yeah.
have good ownership at this level, like, because you're not making a profit,
Mhm.
the owner is doing it because he loves it, he loves the community, whatever his reasoning is. And if like Lansing, for instance, the first year in League One,
Yeah.
they had a
That
great
way.
team. We beat them in the semifinal. They were probably better than us. They had a great team, good support, like, and they just fold after losing in the semifinal. And
Mhm.
if they would have been in League Two first, the way Knoxville had done it, they would have realized, all right, wait a minute, I don't want to do this. It's too expensive,
Yeah.
whatever the reason is. And the best thing, in my opinion, would be to climb the ladder through promotion relegation. But
So
now we're just dreaming. Don't get us started on that.
yeah, exactly.
It would make way too much sense.
Yeah, 100%. And with that being said, with the fans are just as important to make this work as anyone. Without that fan base and without, essentially their ticket purchases and their
Yeah,
support and their
yeah,
attention,
yeah.
we can't reach our full potential. So
No,
that's
no,
why
we're
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 here to bring the best team possible to them.
At the end of the day, we're just a Sunday league team. If we don't have any, we're just, that's all it is. Like there's Sunday league. There's 10 people there in a Sunday league game over 30. Like it's not much different. Maybe a higher level, but it's if there's no support there, that's all it is.
Exactly. Well, aspirations, Jake. Just want to touch on this. We talked about the fans. The club aspirations, especially, of being successful in League One. One day in the future, going up again. But from a personal perspective, and as well from a team perspective, what do you expect? Obviously, you know the league, you know what's realistic, you know what it takes to win it. You won it a couple of years ago. What do you think we can realistically achieve in League One, based off the signings that you've already seen announced, the team that you have in faith with Mark building? What do you see moving forward in the next 12 months?
I think it's going to be extremely difficult. Obviously, a new club coming in it's always tough because the other clubs have their foundation in place. But I do think with the signings coming in, I mean, they seem very impressive, and I think the first goal we should have is just improve every day. So we don't need to get too ahead of ourselves, and I think if we continue to improve, and whether it's on the field, whether it's off the field, whatever, it's the whole club that makes the playoffs. It's not just the 11 guys, not just the 18 guys. Like there's so many things that go on behind the scenes that people don't see, obviously, but they make a huge difference. As having someone like you in the background definitely is going to help us. I can tell already. Just people who care about the players, care about how we're living, how this is happening. Like all these things, small details affect the bigger picture. And I definitely think we have something in place, and the goal should obviously be to make the playoffs. I think that's 50% of the teams make the playoffs. That should be your goal. Any team should be a goal. That should be your goal. And I do think one advantage in lower league American soccer, any lower leagues, being an expansion club. Like if we're an MLS expansion club, good luck, because you get some expansion draft players and all that, but it's very difficult. But in League One, the turnover for all the teams is so great anyway. So you're able to, even though you're starting from zero, everyone else is starting from
balanced.
It's pretty balanced, so it's not as much of a disadvantage as it would be at the higher level. Like the second year, Omaha was an expansion team. They made the final. The third year, I don't remember who was expansion, but yeah, who else has been expanded? There's been some championship clubs, but I don't really remember any other.
Yeah,
but yeah,
a couple. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, you got Colorado and Fuego both missed the playoff. Both missed the playoffs, but yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely feasible, and I'm just honestly just excited to get back to playing. It's been almost a month now, a month and a half, and the first few weeks, it's like, all right, you need a break, but then after that, you're like, all right, I want to start competing again.
100%. Well, we've got, what are we at now? December 22nd, a little over a month, and we'll be on the training field, and you'll be in the middle of a rondo, wishing you were back in a little break. Especially when I'm around you. I love a rondo, by the way.
Of course. Who doesn't?
All right. Well, thanks for that. Listen, we're going to go and finish with some quick fire questions, all right?
I know you didn't even prepare me for these now, so
there you go.
We can go off the rails here.
You're not supposed to tell anyone. I gave you a little heads up on the topics.
I don't even know if we covered them. I honestly didn't really read it.
So you are number 7. First of all, why number 7? You gave me that as one of your options. Is there any reason, or?
Well, I've been 9, and I just wanted a change, and actually number 7 was one of the first numbers that I wanted as a 5-year-old. Or no, it was first year of travel soccer. So I wanted number 7, but I was playing up all year. So I got like last choice. So
you got like 25 or something.
Yeah, whatever it was. I actually got 6, but
it's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, I'm definitely not a 6, but yeah, I just wanted 7. No other reason other than that.
Brilliant. All right, so you're number 7. So we've got 7 quick fire questions. All right.
Oh, I should have picked a higher number. Give you more of a challenge.
They're gonna come quick.
I change it? Can I be 99 actually?
Oh, you're gonna go for it. All right, ready? It's gonna come quick.
Okay.
All right, number 1. Favorite team growing up?
United.
Favorite meal?
Steak, potatoes.
Hold on. I want to stop there. Man United.
Yeah, sorry. You said growing up.
Gotta be joking me. Okay, favorite meal?
Steak, potatoes, and asparagus, something like that.
Karaoke song in front of the lads?
Oh, In the End by Linkin Park. I can belt it out. Just because
Favorite
I know,
soccer moment.
just because I know every word. If I don't know every word, I'm terrible at
I
karaoke.
can't wait for that one. Favorite
Wait,
soccer moment.
probably getting promoted with Galway in 2014 in Ireland.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Who's better? Or who do I like? Or what's
It's up to you. Quick fire. Messi or Ronaldo?
well, Messi took it with this World Cup. Even though there's some questionable officiating, I've never seen six pens given to one player in one World Cup. But I mean, there may be some collusion. Who knows? But we'll give it to Messi.
Here we go. Celtic or Rangers?
I honestly
Be
don't
very
care.
careful with this one.
I'm trying to think what the right answer is.
Honestly, there is no right answer with these two.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Celtic. I don't know. I don't really care.
You just want to get some minutes. That's why you've said that. Here we go. Last one. Number 7. USL League One Championship or World Cup final?
Like for me,
Yeah, would you rather win?
I'd rather win. Like, I mean, obviously League One. I'm not going to be in the World Cup.
There
So.
we go. You're supposed to say League One straight away. Well, thanks for coming on anyway. That's going to conclude this interview. A little introduction to yourself. So the fans know who Jake Keegan is. I'm sure they're equally excited to have you on board.
Well, first, thank you for having me on. I can't wait to get to Knoxville, meet everyone. I'm sure we're going to have some great supporter events once we first get into preseason. Always look forward to those. So can't wait to meet everybody. Can't wait to get out on the pitch whenever League One decides to announce a schedule. Maybe end of March. But yeah, can't wait to get there and meet everyone.